The stars stretched endlessly across the black sky, shining cold and distant, like silent watchers. In that vast emptiness, a shadow moved. Massive alien warships, unlike anything humans had ever seen, appeared at the edge of the solar system. They were sleek and angular, glowing faintly with an eerie blue light. Commander Ethan Walker, standing on the bridge of the human flagship Resolute, felt a chill crawl up his spine. The ships moved with perfect precision, their engines leaving trails of strange energy that no human sensor could fully understand. Ethan's hands rested lightly on the rail, but his mind raced. He had seen war before. He had led fleets through skirmishes, defended colonies, and survived ambushes. But this felt different. These invaders were organized, advanced, and calm. They didn't fire wild shots or rush recklessly. They simply approached as though they had already calculated the outcome. Ethan swallowed hard. His voice was steady as he spoke to his crew. All stations report. Keep your eyes sharp. We do not know what we are dealing with. Lieutenant Claire Bennett, the fleet's lead strategist, was already at her console, her fingers flying over holographic panels. She tracked the alien movements, noting their formations and speeds. Commander, their approach is precise. They are not random, she said. They know what they are doing and they are scanning everything we have. Every ship, every sensor. They are learning about us already. Ethan nodded. Then we learn back. All units stay alert. We do not give them the advantage. In the observation deck, scientists worked frantically, trying to understand the alien signals. Dr. Olivia Reed, the communications specialist, adjusted frequencies and ran algorithms against millions of intercepted pulses. The aliens' transmissions were complex, almost musical, but layered with patterns that seemed to have no meaning to human minds. It's like they're testing us, Olivia said softly, her eyes glued to the display. Every time we try to respond, they adjust. They are probing, not just attacking. Ethan moved between stations, his presence calm but commanding. The fleet stretched across hundreds of kilometers of space, small ships circling massive dreadnoughts like bees around a hive. Every captain, every pilot knew the stakes. Humanity had faced alien threats before, but nothing like this. These ships were faster than anything in human records, armored with materials that resisted even the strongest railgun shells. Yet fear did not freeze them. Humanity had always survived, always found a way when the odds were impossible. Commander, Claire spoke again, pointing at the tactical display. They are not just approaching. They are splitting their fleet into formations that match our own. Almost mirroring us. Ethan studied the display. It was true. The aliens moved with a strange familiarity, as if they had anticipated human tactics. It was unsettling, but it gave him an idea. Good. That means we can predict them too. Prepare counterformation Delta. Use the asteroids on the outer belt to cover our flanks. Keep smaller fighters in reserve. They won't expect that. The crew nodded, acting quickly. Orders spread across the fleet, each ship adjusting its course, engines glowing as they shifted into positions. The tension was thick, yet under it there was focus and determination. Humans did not panic easily. Humans survived by thinking, adapting, and risking themselves when necessary. Far ahead, alien scouts blinked like stars, observing and transmitting data back to the main fleet. One of them, a massive ship bristling with spikes and glowing weapons, slowed as if examining the humans' formation. Ethan felt a strange satisfaction. The aliens were smart, yes, but they could be outsmarted. They had never faced humanity at its best, clever, daring, and willing to risk everything. Commander, Olivia said, her voice tight. I've managed to decode part of their signal. A warning, I think. They are aware of our weapons and our formations. They know we are armed. But, she hesitated, looking at Ethan with wide eyes. They seem cautious, almost hesitant. Ethan leaned forward. Hesitation was something they could exploit. Good. That means they have doubts. Keep decoding. Every piece of information helps. We'll use it to our advantage. Outside the hull, space was a deadly calm. The alien ships drifted closer, their hulls reflecting starlight like black mirrors. Ethan could feel the weight of every life on his fleet pressing down on him. Young pilots, old veterans, scientists who had never seen a battlefield, they all trusted him to lead. He would not fail them. Suddenly, a small patrol detected movement near the asteroid belt. Commander, scouts report an unknown vessel approaching fast, the officer shouted. Ethan squinted at the readings. It was a small alien craft, darting in and out of asteroid shadows, testing human defenses. Prepare intercept, Ethan ordered. Keep it alive. We want information, not just a fight. Human fighters scrambled, weaving between asteroids with incredible agility. The small alien craft twisted and darted, firing pulses of energy, but the humans were faster. Pilot Henry Collins, one of the fleet's most daring, managed to corner it. The alien ship emitted a high-pitched signal, almost a scream, then vanished into the darkness. Claire frowned. They are studying us, Commander. Every move we make, every attack they analyze. This is just the beginning. They won't give us a full fight. They will probe, test, and wait for weaknesses. Ethan nodded. Then we'll show them humanity's strength. Let them see what we are capable of even before the first shots are fired. Hours passed. The alien fleet continued its silent advance, and humans responded with caution and skill. Every movement was calculated, every weapon prepared. The tension was unbearable, yet within the fleet, there was a strange pride. Humans had survived impossible odds before. Humans had always found a way. By nightfall in space, distant stars seemed to blur, and the alien ships moved closer still. Ethan walked across the bridge, stopping at each station to speak to his crew. You are brave. You are smart. Remember, we are humans. We adapt. We survive. And we fight with everything we have. Today we stand together. Today the stars witness our courage. The fleet held its position, engines humming with readiness. Outside, the alien warships glided closer, observing, waiting. And somewhere deep in the darkness of space, the first signals of battle began to flare. Humanity did not flinch. Humanity would not run. Ethan turned back to the viewing window, his eyes locked on the alien vessels. For the first time he allowed a small smile. They had underestimated humans. They would learn soon enough that no fleet, no matter how advanced, could predict the unpredictable spirit of humanity. The first shots of the war were about to be fired, but Ethan Walker knew one thing with certainty. Humanity would fight. Humanity would survive. And humanity would show the stars what it meant to face humans in their own home. The cold silence of space shattered as alien vessels struck the human outposts. Bright streaks of energy tore through satellites and defense stations, leaving debris drifting in the void. Alarms rang across the human fleet, warning of incoming attacks. Captain Liam Harper stood on the bridge of the Valor, his jaw tight, eyes scanning the chaotic readings. The fleet had been ready, but nothing could fully prepare them for the speed and precision of the alien assault. Shields at 70% across the outer line, reported Ensign Mark Fields, his voice tense. Explosions rippled across the communications panel, shaking the bridge slightly. Outer outposts are taking heavy damage. Liam's hands moved over the controls with calm authority. Hold the line. All ships, prepare to engage. We fight together or we fall alone. Across the fleet, humans scrambled to respond. Small fighters darted through asteroid fields, weaving around alien attacks. Heavy cruisers turned their hulls to absorb energy blasts while launching counterfire. The aliens were strong, but their focus on destruction left them vulnerable to clever maneuvers. Lieutenant Claire Bennett directed the fleet from her station, plotting formations that shifted and adapted with the flow of battle. Captain, if we split into two groups and flank their main strike, we can hit their weaker points, she said. They aren't expecting tactics like this. Liam nodded, his mind racing through the strategy. Do it. Keep communication clear and tight. We can't lose coordination for a second. Meanwhile, engineer Olivia Reed worked frantically at her console. The shields on several human ships were failing under the alien assault. Captain, I can modify the shield matrix mid-flight, she shouted. It will double capacity, but the process is risky. If it fails, the ships could overload. Do it, Liam said firmly. Every second counts. Protect our fleet. The engineers worked with speed and precision, rerouting energy flows and reinforcing hull shields. As the shield pulse spread across the fleet, human ships absorbed alien fire that would have otherwise torn them apart. Sparks flew inside the Valor as systems strained, but the fleet held. In the chaos of battle, small fighters became deadly. Pilot Henry Collins weaved between alien cruisers, firing concentrated bursts at vulnerable points. Another pilot, Sarah Mitchell, coordinated with him to draw enemy fire away from slower ships. We can do this. Sarah shouted over comms. They don't know what we're capable of. Explosions lit the void like fireworks. One alien vessel erupted in a ball of blue fire, while another drifted out of formation, engines sparking. Humans cheered quietly in their hearts. Victory was not guaranteed, but hope burned brightly. The alien commanders, observing from their massive ships, were surprised. These humans fought with intelligence, daring and cooperation unlike anything they had faced. Every time they struck, humans adapted. Every time the aliens tried to overwhelm them, humans found a new way to survive. It was almost as if the fleet moved with a single mind, each captain and pilot anticipating the others. Liam's voice cut through the tension. Focus on their main line. We weaken their center and the edges will fall in after. Claire, direct all small fighters to take the flanks. Olivia, keep those shields up. Every ship counts. As orders flowed, the fleet shifted like a living organism. Small ships swarmed alien vessels, distracting and confusing them, while larger ships fired concentrated energy blasts. One human cruiser rammed into the flank of an alien ship, causing a chain reaction that sent fragments of the enemy drifting into space. Even in the heat of combat, humanity's spirit shone. Pilots who had never seen a battle in space before pushed themselves beyond limits. Engineers and scientists worked tirelessly, repairing damaged systems in real time. Every member of the fleet understood the stakes. If they failed, humanity would be destroyed. Liam watched as an alien dreadnought pivoted to attack, its massive cannons aiming at the fleet's center. All ships fall back into the central formation. Draw them in. Use the asteroids for cover, he commanded. The plan worked. The dreadnought's massive fire missed several ships as smaller fighters darted between asteroids, hitting weak points and disabling its engines temporarily. Sparks and energy arcs danced across the hull as the aliens struggled to regain control. Meanwhile, Olivia's shield modifications held strong. Energy rippled across the fleet, protecting vulnerable ships while allowing them to push forward. We're holding, she shouted, relief in her voice. The fleet is still alive. Liam allowed himself a brief moment of satisfaction. Humans were clever, resilient, and brave. These aliens had never encountered such determination. They fought with precision, but humans fought with heart. Every ship, every crew member contributed to the battle. Every small victory was a step toward survival. The aliens tried to adjust, sending more vessels into the fray, but the humans anticipated their moves. Claire's tactical adjustments created confusion among the enemy ranks. Ships collided or drifted out of formation, leaving them exposed. Explosions flashed across the blackness of space, illuminating the fleet with bright blue and white light. Henry Collins executed a daring maneuver, flying between two alien cruisers and firing a concentrated energy beam into the engines of the larger ship. The alien vessel shuddered, sparks flying as it lost power. That's how we do it. Henry shouted over comms, adrenaline pumping. The tide began to turn. Human ships pushed forward with renewed energy. Small fighters darted around damaged alien vessels, striking again and again. Larger cruisers focused their fire on disabled ships, ensuring they could not recover. The aliens were strong, but they were not prepared for humans who fought as one. Liam felt a surge of pride as he watched the fleet adapt and respond to every threat. Humanity's courage, ingenuity, and teamwork were more than technology could match. The aliens had thought they could dominate, but humans refused to be crushed. Hours passed, but the humans did not waver. They worked tirelessly, dodging, attacking, and protecting one another. Olivia's shield modifications kept the fleet alive, while Claire's strategies outmaneuvered the enemy. Liam's leadership held the fleet together, and the pilot's courage carried them through the heaviest assaults. Finally, as the first signs of alien retreat appeared on the sensors, Liam allowed himself a breath. Human ships, battered but unbroken, had pushed the invaders back. Explosions still lit the void, but the fleet held its ground. The alien commanders, observing the human fleet, were forced to acknowledge a truth they had never considered. Humans were not simple opponents. They were clever, daring, and unpredictable. They fought not just with weapons but with spirit. They were willing to risk everything to survive and protect one another. Liam turned to his crew, his face weary but proud. Today we proved that humanity does not bow to fear. We fight together and we fight with everything we have. Remember this moment. We have shown them that humans are not weak. We are alive and we will not surrender. The fleet remained in position, energy weapons ready, engines humming with alertness. The aliens had been slowed, but the battle was not over. Humans knew they had won a small victory, but they also knew that space held many dangers. Yet, in that moment, the crew of the human fleet felt a bond stronger than fear. They had faced titans and they had fought back. The stars glimmered around them, silent witnesses to the bravery of humanity. Explosions faded, smoke and debris drifted in the void, but the humans' determination burned brighter than ever. Liam Harper smiled faintly. The aliens had underestimated them. They would learn soon enough that humanity's courage was a force no machine, no weapon, no alien fleet could easily break. In the darkness of space, the humans held their ground. They were battered but alive. They had survived the first real clash of titans. And deep down, every pilot, engineer, and captain knew one truth: humanity would not give up. Humanity would fight. Humanity would endure. The fleet floated in the blackness of space, battered but still intact. Alien fire had torn through several ships, leaving debris drifting like silent ghosts. Commander Ethan Walker stood on the bridge of the Resolute, his eyes scanning the flickering readouts. Every sensor still active told him one thing: the humans had survived, but only just. The fleet needed more than survival. It needed a plan to turn the tide. Ethan tapped the display, bringing up a hologram of a nearby asteroid belt. Massive rocks and dense fields of debris offered both danger and opportunity. "We use that belt to our advantage," he said quietly. "It's risky, but it's our chance to hit them where they least expect it." Lieutenant Claire Bennett, seated at the tactical station, nodded. Her fingers flew over the console, adjusting coordinates and calculating trajectories. "If we funnel their capital ships through the narrow gaps between asteroids, their larger vessels will be slowed. Our smaller ships can strike at their weak points while they are trapped." Ethan's gaze hardened. "It's dangerous, but it's better than standing still. Signal all captains. Prepare for Maneuver Alpha. Every ship must follow the plan exactly. One mistake and we lose everything." Across the fleet, ships shifted positions with precision. Pilots gritted their teeth as massive asteroids loomed ahead, the shadows stretching like fingers in the void. Smaller human ships darted between the rocks, nimble and fast, while the larger cruisers positioned themselves to block alien escape routes. The aliens, confident and relentless, were moving straight into the trap without realizing it. Henry Collins, one of the fleet's bravest pilots, glanced at his co-pilot, Sarah Mitchell. "This is going to be tight," he said, fingers steady on the controls. "But if we pull it off, it could change everything." Sarah nodded, eyes focused. "We've trained for impossible odds before. This is no different. Let's make it count." As the first alien dreadnought entered the asteroid belt, the humans executed their plan. Smaller ships zoomed past massive rocks, firing concentrated energy blasts at the alien vessel's engines and shields. Sparks and debris sprayed into the void as the dreadnought struggled to maneuver between the asteroids. "Focus fire on the engines," Ethan ordered. "We need them trapped." Claire guided every ship with precision, shifting formations as the aliens tried to adjust. Human ingenuity shone through the chaos. Engineers and pilots improvised on the spot, finding ways to exploit the enemy's weaknesses. When a smaller alien cruiser tried to flee, a squad of human fighters cut it off, disabling its engines with a well-aimed volley. Henry Collins saw an opportunity. A massive dreadnought loomed ahead, slow and vulnerable. "I've got an idea," he said over the comm. "It's risky, but it could cripple them." Ethan's voice came over the channel. "Go ahead, Henry. Make it count." Henry maneuvered his fighter at incredible speed, weaving through asteroids past enemy fire. With a daring burst, he rammed the dreadnought's side. The impact sent a shockwave through the alien ship, damaging its engines and triggering a chain reaction across nearby vessels. Sparks, explosions, and energy arcs lit the asteroid belt like a storm. The aliens faltered. Their formations broke apart as smaller human ships darted in, striking at the damaged capital ships. One by one, the massive vessels lost power, drifting helplessly as humans disabled them systematically. "Status report," Ethan demanded, his voice steady despite the tension. Lieutenant Claire's fingers flew over the console. "We've disabled 3 of their capital ships so far. The rest are disorganized." "This is working, Commander. Their formations are collapsing." The fleet pressed the advantage. Human ships, though smaller and fewer in number, moved with courage and precision. They had learned to use the environment, to improvise, and to work as a single cohesive unit. The aliens, strong as they were, could not match the humans' adaptability. Even amid the chaos, human bravery shone through. Pilots risked their lives flying close to enemy hulls, engineers patched damaged systems while under fire, and captains held their nerve despite heavy losses. Each small victory added to the larger one, a step toward turning the tide of battle. Ethan watched as Henry's daring strike created a ripple effect. The alien fleet, once confident and unyielding, now hesitated. Their attacks became less coordinated, their focus broken by human ingenuity and courage. Humans had shown them that raw power alone was not enough to crush human will. "All ships, focus on the remaining dreadnoughts," Ethan ordered. "We hit them where they are weakest." Every strike counts. Humanity is not finished yet. Explosions continued to flare across the asteroid belt. Rocks shattered under stray fire, sending fragments drifting dangerously close to human ships. Pilots maneuvered with skill, dodging debris while maintaining their assault. Every move was calculated, yet flexible, a testament to human adaptability. Small fighters zipped between massive alien vessels, firing bursts of energy into engines and weapon systems. Larger cruisers, once defensive, now took advantage of the chaos to launch concentrated strikes. Sparks flew across alien hulls, systems malfunctioned, and ships were forced to drift helplessly. Henry, his heart pounding, guided his fighter back through the asteroid field, narrowly avoiding collisions. "We did it," he shouted over comms. "The dreadnoughts are falling." Sarah laughed, relief and adrenaline mixing in her voice. "We're not done yet. Keep moving. Keep striking." As the humans pressed their advantage, Ethan felt a surge of pride. The fleet, battered and weary, had become unstoppable. The aliens, for all their technology and firepower, could not match human courage, creativity, and teamwork. The tide of battle had turned. "Commander," Claire said, her eyes bright with excitement, "we've forced them into retreat. Their formations are breaking. We can push them out of this sector entirely." Ethan nodded, a small smile on his face. "Then that is what we do. Push forward. Show them that humanity does not back down. Show them that courage and cleverness are just as powerful as weapons." In the asteroid belt, the final alien ships struggled to escape. Human fighters harassed them from all sides, larger cruisers fired precise volleys, and engineers like Olivia Reed kept the shields running despite damage. Every member of the fleet contributed to the victory, proving that survival was not just about strength, but about determination, intelligence, and courage. The stars shimmered around the battlefield, reflecting explosions and debris. The alien fleet, once confident and menacing, now drifted in disarray. Humans had turned the tide. They had taken control of the fight, showing the universe that raw power alone could not crush human spirit. Ethan Walker looked across the bridge at his crew and the displays showing the chaos behind them. "We've done what many thought impossible," he said quietly. "We've shown that humanity fights not just with weapons but with heart. The tide has turned. Let them remember this day." The fleet regrouped, battered but unbroken. Ships drifted through the asteroid belt, shields humming, weapons ready, eyes watching the retreating alien vessels. Humanity had survived the first great trial and had begun to claim victory. The battle was far from over, but the humans had proven something critical. They could face impossible odds, they could fight with courage, and they could turn even desperate situations into triumphs. Henry Collins leaned back in his seat, exhaustion mixed with exhilaration. "I never thought we could do it," he said softly. "But we did. We really did." Sarah smiled, looking out at the remaining alien ships. "And this is just the beginning. They'll come back. But next time they'll know. Humans are not easy to break." Ethan Walker, standing at the bridge, watched the stars and the remnants of the alien fleet. Humanity had endured. Humanity had adapted. And humanity had proven that in the face of overwhelming power, courage and cleverness could turn the tide. In the silence of space, broken only by the hum of the surviving ships, one truth shone brighter than any explosion: humanity would not surrender. Humanity would fight. And humanity would survive. The alien fleet had pulled back into the dark expanse of space, regrouping after the heavy losses in the asteroid belt. Human ships drifted carefully, engines humming softly, shields still glowing from the last battle. Commander Ethan Walker stood on the bridge of the Resolute, studying the alien movements with a cautious eye. The fleet had survived, but the aliens were not defeated. They were gathering strength, preparing for another strike. "Commander," Dr. Emily Carter said, her voice tight with excitement, "I think I've found a way to turn the battle completely in our favor." Ethan turned to her, curiosity and hope in equal measure. "Go on, Emily." She took a deep breath and gestured to a holographic display. "We've been working on an energy pulse, a fleet-wide system that can temporarily disable alien engines. It's risky, but if we execute it perfectly, their entire fleet could be frozen in space for minutes. That's enough time for us to strike and capture their ships, learn their technology, and possibly end this conflict in our favor." The crew of the Resolute murmured among themselves, eyes wide. Fleet-wide pulses were dangerous. Miscalculate and human ships could be caught in the blast. Miscalculate and they could destroy their own fleet. But in Emily's voice there was certainty, a calm that brought hope. Ethan nodded, decision firm. "Then that is what we do. Captain Liam Harper, coordinate the fleet. Every ship must be in position. Timing is everything. We cannot fail. Captain Liam Harper at the Valor immediately took command. All units listen carefully. This is humanity's last weapon. Follow the coordinates precisely. No deviation. The pulse will fire on my command. Understand? The fleet responded in unison, voices calm, disciplined, ready to trust in human ingenuity. Every ship adjusted its position carefully, moving into a formation that resembled a vast web of energy conduits. Smaller fighters darted into place, weaving between larger cruisers, while the capital ships formed the backbone of the pulse system. Lieutenant Claire Bennett monitored the alien fleet as they moved. They're grouping together, she said. They must be planning a counterattack. But they don't see our formation. They have no idea what we are preparing. Ethan watched silently. The aliens were strong and fast, but they lacked imagination. Humans could do the unexpected, think quickly, and take risks they could not. That difference had saved them before, and now it could end the war. Emily, Ethan said, give me a final check. Are we ready? Dr. Carter's fingers flew over the console. Shields are reinforced. Energy channels calibrated. Pulse ready. Timing is synced across the fleet. On your mark, Commander, we can fire. Henry Collins in his fighter zipped past the bridge viewports. Let's finish this, he muttered to himself, adrenaline surging. Pilots and crews felt the tension, the weight of hope on their shoulders. Every human in the fleet understood what was at stake. Failure meant destruction. Success meant survival. Ethan gave a steady nod. Liam, fire the pulse. A low hum began across the fleet, growing in intensity until it became a rising roar of energy. Blue arcs of light traveled along the web of ships, converging into a single brilliant pulse that shot outward into space. The alien fleet, caught off guard, struggled as their engines faltered. Vessels drifted, sparks flying from systems overloaded by the sudden disruption. Massive dreadnoughts spun helplessly, unable to steer. Small fighters tumbled through space, disoriented and vulnerable. The effect was immediate and spectacular. Human ships moved carefully, taking advantage of the chaos. Boarding crews, already suited and prepared, launched in shuttles toward disabled alien vessels. The aliens tried to regroup, but the pulse had left them powerless for crucial minutes. Boarding teams, proceed, Liam Harper ordered, his voice calm but commanding. Secure technology. Gather intelligence. Every ship counts. Henry Collins piloted his fighter alongside a massive alien cruiser. He could see the boarding shuttles clinging to its hull, breaching airlocks and gaining access. Sparks and alarms lit the vessel from within, but human crews moved with precision and courage. Engineers, soldiers, and scientists worked together, taking control of the alien systems and securing weapons and information. Dr. Carter guided operations from the Resolute, analyzing alien technology as it came online. These engines are incredible, she said, excitement in her voice. But we can understand them. We can learn. We can turn their technology into something that protects humanity instead of threatens it. Ethan Walker watched the progress, pride swelling in his chest. Humans were fearless, clever, and adaptable. They had faced impossible odds and used intelligence, teamwork, and bravery to create a path to victory. Even in the darkest moments, they had found a way forward. Explosions from the remaining alien defenses illuminated the stars like fireworks, but human ships moved with care, using every opening the pulse had created. Small fighters darted through the gaps, disabling energy weapons, while larger ships pressed boarding crews into the heart of the enemy vessels. Commander, Claire Bennett said, pointing to the display, their fleet is in disarray. They're losing cohesion. We've given them no chance to fight back effectively. Ethan nodded. Good. Keep the pulse active for another 30 seconds. Every second counts. Maintain position and be ready for their engines to come back online. Time seemed to stretch as the energy pulse held the aliens in place. Crew members gripped controls, shuttles zipped through the void, and boarding teams overcame resistance with courage and skill. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and yet the humans never faltered. Every action was precise, every decision calculated, yet driven by bravery and hope. Then slowly the pulse began to fade. Alien engines hummed back to life, but by now it was too late. Their fleet had lost coordination, several ships were captured and their forces were scattered. Human crews had secured weapons, propulsion systems, and critical intelligence that would aid humanity in future battles. Liam Harper breathed deeply, allowing himself a moment of satisfaction. We did it, he said quietly. We've turned the tide. Ethan Walker looked at the stars, at the alien ships drifting helplessly, at his fleet standing proud and ready. Humanity had survived, but more importantly, humanity had shown that intelligence, courage and cooperation were as powerful as any weapon. They had taken the fight to the enemy, had used strategy and skill to win against overwhelming odds. Dr. Carter's eyes shone with excitement. We've learned more than I ever imagined. This technology, we can use it to strengthen our defenses and prepare for the next threat. Henry Collins, floating in his fighter after aiding boarding teams, grinned. And we didn't even break a sweat. The alien fleet had finally turned away, retreating into the endless black of space. Smoke and sparks from their damaged ships trailed behind them, leaving a scattered trail of debris. Human ships drifted carefully, engines low, shields still humming from battle. The crew of the last fleet breathed slowly, relief mixing with exhaustion. Humanity had survived, but the cost of victory was clear in the battered hulls and damaged systems across the fleet. Commander Ethan Walker stood on the bridge of the Resolute, his gaze fixed on the empty space where the alien ships had been. The silence was heavy, broken only by the hum of machinery and the occasional radio chatter. "They're gone," he said softly, almost to himself. Then he straightened, turning to his officers and crew. "But our work is not over. We've survived because we never gave up. Remember that. Courage, creativity, and unity, these are humanity's greatest weapons." Lieutenant Claire Bennett, still at her tactical console, nodded. Her fingers traced the map of the retreating aliens, noting the damage inflicted and the ships that had been captured. "Commander, we've learned so much from this battle," she said. "We can use the captured ships and technology to prepare for whatever comes next." Ethan smiled faintly. "Exactly, Claire. We've survived today because we adapted, because we worked together, because we didn't panic. And we'll be ready tomorrow for whatever comes." Across the fleet, scientists and engineers moved quickly to assess the captured alien vessels. Dr. Emily Carter directed teams as they analyzed alien engines, weapon systems, and control panels. "This technology is unlike anything we've seen," she said. "But it's ours now. We can learn, we can improve, and we can protect humanity with it." Engineer Olivia Reed adjusted a power conduit on one of the alien ships, sparks flying as the systems hummed to life. "We can understand their shields and weapons," she said. "We can make them ours. It's not just about surviving the war, it's about being ready for the next one." Pilots cleaned their ships, checking engines and weapon systems, but their eyes often wandered to the horizon, scanning for any sign of returning alien forces. Henry Collins and Sarah Mitchell shared a quiet moment in the observation deck, watching the stars. "It's over, for now," Henry said, running a hand through his hair. "But they'll be back." Sarah nodded. "Yes, but we've proven something. They can't break us. No matter how many ships they have, no matter how strong they are, humans don't give up." Ethan moved among the crew, speaking to each officer, each pilot, each engineer. His presence was calm but commanding, a reminder that leadership was more than giving orders, it was giving hope. "Every one of you did something incredible today," he said. "You faced a fleet we didn't fully understand and fought with courage. That courage saved lives. That courage saved humanity." The fleet began to regroup, repairing damaged ships and tending to injured crews. The stars around them were quiet again, but the memory of explosions and fire would remain in their minds for years. Yet even in the exhaustion, the fleet was alive, and alive was everything. Ethan gathered his senior officers on the bridge. "We cannot rest on this victory alone," he said. "The universe is vast and dangers are everywhere. We must study these ships, understand their technology, and be ready." The aliens learned something today. "We learned something even more important. Humans never surrender." Claire Bennett nodded, her fingers moving over tactical displays as she planned. "We can use their communication systems to detect future fleets, and their navigation data can show us where they might strike next. We have the advantage now, Commander," Dr. Emily Carter added, "and we can improve our defenses. We can upgrade shields, weapons, and engines. We can make sure the next attack won't take us by surprise." Even the youngest pilots, those who had never flown in a real battle before, felt pride swelling inside them. They had seen the enemy, faced fear, and acted with skill and courage. They had survived, learned, and grown. Humanity's spirit was alive in every one of them. Henry Collins leaned back in his seat, exhaustion heavy on his shoulders, but satisfaction in his heart. "We did it," he said. "We actually did it." Sarah Mitchell smiled faintly. "Yes, we did. But we have to be ready. This is only the beginning. The stars are full of dangers, but we've proven we can face them." Ethan Walker walked to the observation window, looking out at the blackness dotted with distant stars. The alien fleet was gone, but he knew they would return. And when they did, humans would be ready. The fleet had survived, adapted, and grown stronger. Humanity had shown that courage, intelligence, and unity were more powerful than any weapon. He turned back to the bridge. "Send messages to all human colonies," he said. "Tell them we survived, tell them we fought, tell them that humans never surrender. Every person out there needs to know the truth. No matter how strong the enemy, humanity stands together." Engineers, scientists, and pilots worked late into the cycle, analyzing every captured ship, every new piece of alien technology. They shared ideas, theories, and strategies, preparing for the next threat. The fleet was alive, ready, and more united than ever before. As the hours passed, the crew slowly began to rest. Some slept in shifts, some sat quietly, staring at the stars. But even in rest, the fleet remained alert. The aliens might return, and humanity had to be ready. Ethan moved among the sleeping crews, watching the quiet determination on their faces. Young pilots dreamed of flying again, scientists thought of new ways to improve defenses, and engineers repaired ships with steady hands. Each person, each action, was proof that humans had survived because they had never given up. Henry Collins, finally resting in his small cabin, whispered to himself, "We'll be ready. We always are." Sarah Mitchell, looking out at the distant horizon, nodded. "Yes. And when they come back, they'll see exactly what humans are capable of." Ethan Walker returned to the bridge, his eyes sweeping across the fleet. Every ship still alive, every crew member still breathing, was a victory in itself. The stars remained full of dangers, but humanity had proven one truth: courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome the strongest of enemies. Humans would never surrender, no matter how dark the universe became. He raised his voice, addressing the fleet over the intercom. "We fought. We survived. We will learn from this. And we will be ready for whatever comes next. Humanity endures because we never give up. We fight, we adapt, and we protect one another. Let the stars remember us. Let the universe know, humans do not surrender. Humanity will survive." A cheer rose across the fleet, quiet but full of pride. The battles were not over, but the humans had won a victory that mattered. They had survived, they had learned, and they had shown courage in the face of overwhelming odds. Ethan Walker looked once more out into the blackness. The alien fleet was gone for now, but humanity's last fleet remained. Stronger, wiser, and ready. The stars could be dangerous, but humanity's spirit burned brighter than any fire, any weapon, or any alien fleet. And in that moment, the human fleet sailed through the stars, alive, united, and vigilant, ready for whatever the universe might throw at them next. No matter what came, humanity would survive. Sarah Mitchell laughed softly. "Well, maybe a little," she said, looking out at the remains of alien ships. "But we made it. Humanity made it." Ethan turned back to the fleet. "Remember this moment," he said to his crew. "We have shown that humans fight with more than weapons. We fight with courage, intelligence, and unity. That is our last weapon, and it will never fail us." The stars around the battlefield were quiet now, the explosions fading into memory. Human ships drifted in formation, engines low, shields glowing softly. The captured alien vessels floated alongside, evidence of humanity's ingenuity and bravery. The fleet had survived, had struck back decisively, and had learned that even the most advanced enemies could be overcome when humans worked together. Ethan allowed himself a small smile. "This is not the end," he said. "We will face more challenges. But humanity has a way to survive, to win, and to adapt. No fleet, no alien force, no machine can match what we can do when we stand together." The crew felt a shared pride and relief. Humanity's last weapon had succeeded. The aliens had been beaten back, their engines disabled, their fleet scattered. And the humans had not only survived, they had learned, adapted, and proven that courage and intelligence were just as deadly as firepower. Henry Collins leaned back in his seat, exhausted but exhilarated. "We've done it. We've really done it this time." Sarah Mitchell nodded, eyes on the stars. "And next time they'll think twice before facing us." Ethan Walker looked out at the dark expanse of space, at the alien vessels drifting helplessly, and at the fleet standing tall. Humanity had survived the worst. Humanity had used courage, brains, and teamwork to create victory. And the stars, for all their danger, had witnessed the power of human will.